Hello everyone, this is Akash Chauhan, and in today's lecture, we will discuss about the internet addressing. This is actually the sequence lecture after part two we have already done. This is internet addressing part three video, in which I'll discuss about the init address class. I'll also talk about the reserve sockets and what are reserve ports we have. What are those well-known ports that we cannot use, we are not supposed to use. So we will discuss all these things in this lecture only. So I'll start with init address class. So this class is also inside the java not.net package. But why do we use init address class? So it is like init, right? It is inside java.net. There is a package, right? We usually discuss about this package in Java, where sockets, Java socket, and all these classes are there inside this package. Okay, so what is this init address class is all about? So when we represent IP address and other related information, we would look for init address class. So init address class is responsible to represent IP address and the other uh, related detail. And what are those details? We will look into that. So init address class provide method or function to get the host IP address and the other details. So it means if you know the domain name, let's say you know the domain name, you pass this to this init address class, and one of the methods of this class would return you the IP address of this particular domain name. Okay, so even in the domain server designing, this class is used most of the time if there is a Java programming. Okay, we will see how to use this class, but you must know that if you know the domain name, you can get the IP address. If you know the IP address, you can get the domain name. So all the information related to a host, the IP address and the domain name, you can get it. Okay, so this is how you write it, init address, and this is the object. We are creating the object here using new keyword, and this is you have to pass nothing during the object creation. But if you want to use get by name, okay, this is the method get by name. It means you provide the name and it will return you the IP address. Okay, let me erase these, otherwise it seems like it's like a pointer. It is not. It is simple a variable, init address type variable, which is storing now the IP address, because you are accessing init address. So you must understand get by name. You are providing facebook.com. It is a domain name, okay, and it is returning you the init address. Then you can, this is these are the get methods. Okay, get methods. So you simply, if you call get host name, it will print, it will return you this as a string. Get IP, get init address, then get host address, it will return you the IP address of your host. So how can we use it? See what we are doing. If we know the domain name, we can get IP address. We can gain again the who is the host. Host is like facebook.com, like it is the similar thing that we are passing. And what is the use of this class? Okay, so there is a practical we will be covering of this class, but let's implement this class first of all. Okay, let's this is a in a demo class in which I'm using the init address. Okay, and I'm calling this get by name, and simply this is a copy paste example from Java point, so you can take it from there as well. It just I'm taking it for the references. If you know the init address object, if you have this object, you can call get host name and get host address. So this will return you the IP. This will return you the domain name. But what is the use of that? I'll suggest you to read this, pause this video and read this practical. I'll explain you also, but please pause this and do and read this practical. So in this practical, in a client server communication, client and server communication is there. Server sends a URL. So let's say we have a client, we have a server. Okay, client is communicating with server and server is communicating with client. But here there is a catch. Server sends a URL. Let's say client is sending some message, but let's say client is saying, okay, give me the URL. Give me the URL. Okay. And server say, okay, I'll give you the URL. And client is saying, okay, I am getting the URL from the server. And according to that URL, I get to know the, or let's say that it is providing you the domain name, it is better. So client can know the IP address of the particular domain or name of the URL and how to get it through this init address class. So you try to communicate with the client and server and take the input from the server as a URL or the DNS name. Okay, and you please run this code at client side to know the host what to say, the host IP address of the URL the server sends. So this practical we will cover. Okay, so you can note down that at some point of time, maybe after multi-threading environment where many clients can connect with the same server, we will do this practical as well. I think this would be the sixth practical, if that would be the fifth. So this is all about this init address class. Now we will talk about reserve sockets. So please wait. Okay, so when we talk about reserve sockets, it means there would be some reservation of the sockets or the port. So when we will be covering this topic, which is very important, okay, we would know about the ports as well. What are the ports? What is the range of ports? What is the difference between socket and port? What are well-known ports? What are the reserve sockets? So when we will be discussing about the reserve sockets, we will get to know about these, or we should cover these topics as well. So let me start with this simple example in which we have two computers. This is PC1, this is PC2, and the respective IP address is IP1 and the IP address 2. And in this scenario, the client and server, the client is trying to send a message, okay, this message to the server. But in order to send a message to the server, the client should know some necessary information before sending a message to the server. First of all, the client would know the IP address of server and also which port at the server. Let's say there is a port over here, 80. Okay, the client tries to connect with this port. So in advance, these two things would be clear. If a client tries to communicate with the server, I think this is clear. So IP address and the port number, or at which port number the client tries to communicate, both combine. Whenever we combine these IP address and the port number of the server, it is called a socket connection. Okay. And at the server side, if you call the accept method, and if it returns the socket details successfully, it means the connection is established. Okay, the connection is stabilized by the socket and server socket classes. Okay, so if client tries to communicate with server, client must know the IP address of the server and the application running on the server, which is called port. Why I'm saying it's an application running on the server, it means we want to get something from the server. there would be some web services running on the server, right? That's why we are pinging the server. Then that is the only reason we are, sending a request to the server in order to get some response. So it means there would be some application running on the server. It means there would be some port, because whenever you deploy a application over the server, you need a port. So application is almost equal to the port, because you need a port to run an application over the server. So what is this 8080 port means? The client wants to send web content to the server. So whenever you talk about 80 represent HTTP protocol. Okay. So whenever you tries to communicate with 80, it means there would be many ports of the server, but you are trying to communicate with the 80 port number only, this port. So each and every port has different port numbers, and on each and every port, different application protocol will be running. If you are hitting 80, it means something. If you are hitting, other the port having 25 port number, it means different for the server. Okay, so each and every port having a unique number has some distinct wish or a very different job. Okay, so if you are typing 80, or if you are using the 80 port number of the server, it means you want a response from the server in the form of web content whenever you hit the 80, because 80 is the HTTP protocol port number. Okay, because HTTP run on 80. So whenever you call, hit HTTP protocol, it means you are trying to access as a response from the server some hypertext content. It can be text, it can be pictures, video, but it should be on the web data. Okay, so how it is happening? It is happening in the same fashion. Let's say you have a URL, facebook.com, which starts from HTTP, and you hit it, you send a request to the server, and over that server, you are hitting this 80 port number. Okay, and you are hitting specifically 80 because you want a response from the server in the form of web. You don't want mail. Okay, you don't want a file. You only need a response as a web content, web data. For that, you are hitting 80 port of the server, and at the 80 port, the HTTP protocol would run. Okay, so it means that if 80 is the port number, it means there has to be some range. You cannot just randomly choose a port number, right? And as we can see, 80 is fixed for HTTP. We will look into that matter as well, that why we have chosen 80 for that HTTP. If we type 81, what does it mean? Okay, or if 80 is only assigned for HTTP, and why? The question is why we have assigned 80 to the HTTP. We will look into that matter as well. But so far we know that okay, there are some ports. It means there has to be some range. So the port number is made out of 16 bits. So 0 to 15, you have the bits. So how many numbers you can generate throughout if you have the 0, 1 choice at each place? You have 16 places, and you have two choices, either 0 or 1. So if you use the permutation combination or the basic logic, you will get to the power 16. Okay, and these are the number of choices, or these are the number of decimal numbers you can have. Okay, you can have the binary number out of this, but eventually you can convert those numbers into the decimal. Okay, that's why I have said these are the different 65,536 numbers, decimal numbers you can generate. So if you want to figure out the range, it means if you start from 0, then it will end minus 1 of this number. Okay, because we are starting from 0, not 1. It means we have such a huge number. It means if we look into the size of the port, okay, which is 16 bits, then we can generate such kind of numbers. But why we have chosen 80 for HTTP when we have all these numbers? Okay, so there is an authority called IANA, which is called Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. which is responsible for assigning the numbers to a particular thing. For example, the first 1024 numbers are reserved for well as a well-known ports. We will see why. The next 1024, after 1024 till 49151, these numbers are registered ports. Okay, and rest of the ports from 49152 to 65535, all these numbers are free to use. But here we will not focus on all these three. We are, our motive is to explore what are well-known ports. Okay, these things. Okay, in order to understand what are the reserve sockets and reserve port. So INA authority decided to fix all these numbers and not to be used by any other web services over the server. And all these are, fixed for all the protocols over the internet, that you are not supposed to use this range for any other web service because all these ports are reserved. So first 1024 ports are reserved, but for what? For web services to run. It means if you have a server, there would be so many services running on the server. Server may run many services on the server at the same time. You can run Java, you can run PHP, you can run Google, you can run Facebook. So it means the server can respond in many ways for an individual request. Okay, so as the diversity of the server or the technology a server can support, we have different web services on that. So we need different ports. And server may respond back to each request in a differently according to the need or the nature of the client request. That is why. So server can respond as a file, server can respond as a mail, server can respond as a web content. The server can return web data, server can return media having photos or videos. So the nature of the server as a response is quite unique according to the request that is received by the server. Okay, it means the server is providing some web services. So to run those web services, we need some ports, and we want to reserve those ports according to those web services. The reason behind this is very simple, that if all over the world, let's say all these five computers are of five different countries, if we want to send some data from India to, let's say, US, then whenever the data would reach to the US, okay, the server should not spend much time to figure out that what kind of data I should respond back to this machine. So to to reduce that thing, to reduce that work, we decided to have fixed port numbers for each web services. So ranging from 1023, all these numbers are reserved for different web services. We will discuss what are those services, but you must understand that no one should use all these port numbers because these are the standard port numbers over which all the rules are decided over the internet, so that even if you are using connecting through the from different country, from different ISP. Let's say I'm using Geo, the someone else is using the SoftBank in Japan. In US, they would be using something else. So all these network issue shouldn't be there. Okay, in order to do that, we need to fix some protocols. So we need to follow some rules. So in order to do that, we have fixed some numbers. So how all these numbers would be reflecting, let's say all the protocols are necessary to provide and fix the rule or create an agreement between the sender and receiver. That is what we have just discussed. All these different application protocols set the format of the data between client and server. So if we have the rules, let's say if we have the rules, or in order to fix the format, let's say if we are hitting 80 port at the server, it means the server would only respond back as a web content. not as a mail, not as a file. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to fix the all these port numbers, and we have assigned all these port numbers, and all these port numbers are assigned by the IANA authority. Okay, IANA, we don't assign these things. So for FTP, if you want to send a file to the client, then you have to ping the 21 port of the server. For telnet, you have to ping 23. For SMTP is for mail. It is for outgoing mail, I think it is incoming. I actually forgot. POP 3 is also for mail, but one of these for incoming. This is also for mail. One of these is for incoming mail, and this another one is for outgoing mail. HTTP, for the web content. Okay, so we have fixed all these things. Okay, because we want to have a fixed rule or fixed protocol on which all the. So I think we are clear with the use of having different and fixed port number for each protocol. So all these are different protocols which helps us to fix the rule and the format of the data which will be responded back to the client or sent to the server. So these port numbers are assigned to these protocols to uniquely identify these protocol over the network. Okay, if a server having different a 1024 port number, it means you can connect with the server in 1024 ways uniquely. Okay, so these port numbers are the unique ID of these port numbers. So if this is the range which is fixed by IANA, right, it means we cannot use it. In the simplest way, if I want to ask you that we use socket class and server socket class, cannot we use the 80 number there in the server socket? Can't we use 80, right? If you remember this server socket class, we pass a port number there, right? So cannot we use that? Let's explore that, because if you know the answer, you will get the good understanding of the this concept. So till 1023, you are not supposed to use these low level ports explicitly. So first 1024 are low level port numbers, so we are not supposed to use it, and we will see why. So the question is what I have just discussed, that cannot we use a port from this range in our socket programming like this inside this. So let's understand through an example that if we are using a local server, and local server means your default server which you usually use the local host or the 127.0.0.1. If you remember in the socket class, we have passed this as a domain name, right, localhost, and then we pass the port number as well in that. So let's say your project name is my Java project, which is running on the your server. So if you try to run this particular program, right, server.java program using the 80 port, so you will get the exception when this 80 port number is already reserved. So if you go to your server setting, the default server setting, you will get to know what port number is fixed for which protocol. So if 80 is free, then you can use it definitely, right? But in case port number is in use, you will get the exception. So your port number is in use, then you have to kill that port number, or the server would return you that this port number is in use. So you choose differently. So this is all about your local server. But what about the internet server, which is running some web services? Let's say you are hitting facebook.com. Okay. Let's say you are hitting facebook.com. So this is a domain name, right? And on the server, if this is the HTTP request, then definitely it would be running on 80 port number of your internet server, right? I hope this is clear. Okay, so actually over the server, this port number is always fixed for web services to respond. So in any way, if you are using the web server, you are not supposed to use or you cannot use this port number. Actually, at this level, when you use a local host, all things you can customize. But for the web services, they follow the international rules set by the IANA authority. Okay. By default, your server would follow all these rules as well, but you can customize those. You can make this port number free. But on the web services, the port number from 0 to 1023 all are reserved port numbers you cannot use. Most of the time, the server would throw you an error because if you can see, the INA has decided to, you know, to divide the port number into well-known registered port and the free slots to use. So we generally use whenever we try to run a web service over the server. Let's say you have a Java program, you have a server.java program, and you want to run it on 80. You will not. It is not possible. But instead, what are those free numbers? What are those free port numbers that you can use? You can run this service. Okay, you can run this service over there. This service over the this server. You can use those free ports. So I hope all these things are clear to you about what is how to run on a local host on internet server. What are the reserved sockets and reserved port. Okay, let me come to a very important point. We have covered, I think, let me check. We have covered the range, we have covered socket, what are ports, well-known ports, reserved sockets, and ports. So if you can pause the video and ask yourself, what is the difference between well-known ports and reserved sockets? So sockets is, if you can look at this, or if you go to the start of this video, I told you that port is where the web application would be running, okay, or wherever your protocol would be running. But socket is made out of IP address and the port number. So whenever you use those reserved port numbers to create a socket, those sockets uh, will considered as a reserve socket. So using the reserve port numbers, whenever you create a connection, whenever you create a socket, all those sockets would also called as a reserve socket. Means some connections between the client and server are already reserved to improve the efficiency. Okay, like 8080. They are also working on HTTP. They are also working on HTTP. So the transmission is fast. You don't need to select search for an appropriate example. That is not required. So socket and ports are different, but definitely when using reserved ports, whenever you create sockets, all those sockets would be called reserved sockets. I hope this lecture is clear. In next lecture, we will move on to the TCP/IP or the OSI model. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for today's lecture. And if you have the doubt, you can comment down below, or you can fill the form as well. Okay, so thank you so much, and have a good day.